Welcome to the Dark Digital Identity Disorder. Now, if you're new to this channel, stick around because it's going to get interesting. And if you're familiar with this channel, then you might have noticed we were going through some changes lately. Used to be Random Vandom. Now we're the Dark Digital Identity Disorder because we are having a digital identity crisis. This is not AI. Let me take a deep breath just so you know that you are listening to the blood, sweat, and tears of an actual human being. And we're going to go for my first iceberg. This is the Dark Digital Identity Disorder Iceberg. This is a story for the sleepless, for those who fall asleep to background tabs and wake up with inbox ghosts. This is about you. This is about me, about the signal that got lost in the feed. This is the iceberg of the Dark Digital Identity Disorder. Layer 1, the glitched self. I've created this because I've realized that we are all now locked in cages. And those cages are not made of bars, but they are made of felt cubicle walls. And they are made of the boxes that sit on four wheels that we are traveling in during rush hour. And when you're sitting there in rush hour listening to Rush telling you if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice, and you realize you don't have time to make a choice. We are timed, punched in, tapped out. Tapped into the myth of freedom for a parking pass and a 5-minute smoke break. We wake up tired and pay rent on land we'll never own, just to afford enough light to flicker through the blinds before the sun clocks out. We sell our souls cheap, not for greatness, not for guitars, not for love or legend, but for just enough gas to get back to the office. We don't burn for anything, we simmer. And somewhere in that endless scroll between red lights, we start to forget who we are. This is a dark digital identity disorder, not a diagnosis, but a condition collapse. A slow deleted of self beneath passwords, punch clocks, and the quiet lie of just one more day. We are avatars inside performance reviews. We are hollow logins typing, "I'm fine," in team chat boxes. While something older and wilder inside us claws at the drywall. This iceberg dives deep, beneath the memes and the mantras, below the buzzwords, under the interface. Down where the rituals of the office, mugs, and the elevator sighs become sacred relics of forgotten species. Let's descend. Layer 1, the glitched self. We begin as usernames, tiny avatars, filters, Bitmoji smiles in places where real smiles used to live. We become profiles before we become people. Your digital self updates more often than your real one. Your soul runs on an outdated firmware. You keep hitting remind me later. You respond faster to notifications than your own thoughts. You post your mood before it processes. You don't know if your mirror is more honest than your front camera. Layer 2, the haunted office temple. Your cubicle has a spirit residue. You live behind bits of soul every time you click send. The coffee mug knows your secrets. The printer hums prayers in Morse code. The stapler is your ritual tool. The Post-it is your scripture. The break room is your chapel, and the microwave is a mere god of warming and waiting. There is ritual, rebellion, growing in your Outlook calendar. A ghost that lives in the copier jam. Level 3. Commute mythology. You are not a driver, you are a pilgrim. The traffic light is your oracle. The lane merge is a sacred test. GPS is rerouting, is divine intervention, because when you arrive at your destination, you have not arrived at your purpose. Every turn signal is a sermon. Every horn is a hymn. Every podcast episode a psalm, because we are bathed in brake lights. You read runes on bumper stickers. You scream into the void of the air conditioning vents. You pray in glances at gas prices. Layer 4. The clock cult. Time is not money. It's your God. You tithe in hours and you sacrifice sleep. You worship in deadlines because they give meaning into the void. The alarm clock is a demon in disguise. The minute hand is a whip, and your hour hand is a slow executioner. Your days are divided into tiny altars, lunch break, bathroom break. That really isn't a break. You count down to Friday like it's a second coming. You're overtime, hoping someone notices your suffering, but no one does. Layer 5. The downtime decrees. You don't have time for the sacred, so you make your decrees out of what you have: a napkin, a receipt, the back of your hand. The downtime decree, a manifesto for those who worship in break rooms. The sermon of small things. Sanctify the sink, the silence, the sigh. The grimoire of getting by. Daily rituals and post-it prayers and coffee rings. These aren't jokes. They are spells. They are memes. They are mantras. You repeat them in your head during meetings so that you don't disappear completely. Layer 6. The forgotten myths. Fairy tales used to be violent, tragic. They taught children how to survive. And now they are cartoons with songs about dreaming. Because you don't have time to cry. You don't have time to feel. You don't even have time to want. So we don't read the old myths anymore. We scroll instead. We binge. We forget. But the real myths are still there, buried in your bones, waiting. Layer 7. The false choice paradox. Rush said, if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. But what if we never had time to choose? What if illusion of agency is just another software overlay? What if our lives are UI disguised by someone we never met? You think you choose your life? You didn't. You inherited it, auto-generated like your bio. And you've been editing ever since, but only in the margins. Layer 8. Sacred rebellions. You don't have a riot. You don't have to riot. You don't have to run. You just have to pause. And that alone is heresy. When you decide, when you delete a draft you could have sent, that's sacred. When you take the long way home, that's a prayer. When you stare at the ceiling instead of scrolling, you are touching God. Layer 9. The exit gospel. This is the final gospel buried in your routine. It's a rechargeable on Fridays at 4:56 p.m. It says, you were never just a job. You are not a password. You are not a brand. You are a flickering echo of divine, pretending to be productive. The final gospel of Fridays is not a text. It's a leaving. It's an exodus. And it starts when you stop apologizing for being tired. Layer 10, the core. You are the iceberg. You are 90% unseen. You are the myth and memory, ritual and rot, compressed into a smiling profile picture. You are not a homepage. You are not the 17 open tabs behind it. You are not the calendar. You are the space between appointments. You are not broken. You are not over-managed. You are not over-mirrored, reflected too many times through too many algorithms. And now it's time to go deep, to melt, to drown in persona, and respect the real. This has been a dark digital identity disorder. Not a diagnosis, not a fix, just an offering. A chance to remember that even if you are made of data, you still feel like flesh. A flesh that remembers things the cloud cannot store.